Good morning, student. Today we will start our next unit of the operating system, that is memory management. In this unit we will see the basic function of the memory management. That means how the memory is assigned to a program when that particular program is executed into the memory. Then we will see the different characteristics of memory management technique. Then we will see the different algorithms for page replacement. First we will see some introduction about the memory management. The main purpose of a computer system is to execute program. The main function or the main purpose of the computer system is to execute the different user programs or the user applications. These programs together with the data they access then must be in the main memory during its execution. The programs which are executed into the computer system, then that programs while execution, that programs are present in a computer's main memory. That programs must be present in a computer's main memory while its execution is done. To improve both utilization of the CPU and the speed of its response to users, the computer must keep several processes in a memory. We know that whenever one program is executed into a memory, that programs is divided into a number of processes, and that processes are actually executed into a memory. Many memory management schemes exist reflecting various approaches, and the effectiveness of each algorithm depends on the situation. There are different algorithms are present in an operating system. That algorithms assigns a memory to specified process. Depending on the condition, depending on the situation, the operating system assigns the memory to the different processes. Then the selection of a memory management scheme for a system depends on many factors, especially on the hardware design of the system. Each algorithm requires its own hardware support. Depending on the hardware design, the system selects the specified memory management technique for the execution of program. This unit having 4 unit outcomes. First unit outcome is the describe the working of specified memory management function. Then second one is the explain characteristics of the given memory management technique. Then next, write algorithm for the given page replacement technique. Here we will study the different page replacement algorithm. Then last, calculate page fault for the given page reference string. These are the 4 unit outcomes for this unit. Now we will start our memory management unit. First we will see the basics of memory management. In the basics of memory management, first we will see what is the concept of partitioning. All of you know, while installing the operating system, we do the partitions. Why partitions are necessary? Because we know that because of partition, we can easily access the data from the different partitions. Suppose you have a memory And if you are not doing any partition to that particular memory, then all your system data remains present in that particular one storage. But while you are creating the different partitions to that particular memory, then several different parts are present, and you are classify the particular data and store that particular data to particular drive or the particular partition. For example, if you are do the partition of that particular memory into 3, then there are 3 drives are created, C, D or E. Your all system data is present in a C drive. For example, in your D drive, the data related with your project is present, and in your E drive, the E drive, your data related with your multimedia is present. For example, movies, picture, photos are you are storing in a E drive. Then, for example, suppose you want the data related with your project. Then at this moment you only access your D drive, because you know that in the D drive your project related data is present. So you access the D drive and carry that particular data. But in the case of if you are not doing any partition to that particular your computer system, then your all data is present in a single memory, single part. So there are more complication arise. You cannot access the data easily from that one part. So you are doing a partitions. First, we will see what is and actually partition is. Partitioning is the method used for memory management is called memory partitioning. Memory partitioning is the one method for the memory management. This method divides the memory into several small parts. The partitioning method divides the memory into different subparts, different small parts. And these parts are called as partitions. And each small unit of memory or each small unit of part is called as partitions. The different partitions may contain same process or different processes. For multi-programming environment, the memory is divided into various partitions, and then the different parts of programs are stored into the memory. As earlier I told one example, while we are going to install the operating system, at that time we are doing the partitions. And the different parts contains the different type of data. That means different parts contain the different types of programs or the different processes are stored into that particular each partition. An operating system arranges the different processes in memory partitions. It keeps track of occupied partitions as well as free partitions. The operating system performs the function of tracking. The operating system keeps tracks of the occupied partition, that means data occupied memory, and free partitions. When a job comes into a ready state, then the operating system checks for a partition status, and accordingly the process is kept in a available memory partitions. That means whenever any process comes into the ready state, then the operating system first checks the status of the partition, if that partition is free or occupied. If that partition is free, then that particular process is stored at that particular part or that particular partition. Different scheduling algorithms are used for input queue for deciding the priority of the process which are input-output queue. This is the partitioning. In short, partitioning means here we divide the memory into several smaller units, and each that smaller unit we called as partition. Then we will see what are the different advantages of the process of partitioning. What are the advantages? It is useful for multi-programming environment. The partitioning method is very effective in multi-programming environment. Then next, it is easy to access data from partitioner. I earlier told that one example. So it is by using a partitioning method, user can easily access the data from the partitions. Then next, easy to access partitions. The partitioning method provides the easy access for both data as well as partitions. And partition can be dynamic or fixed. There are both type of partitions. The partitions can be dynamic or it is of fixed size. These are some advantages of the process of partitioning. Then next one is the types of partitioning. There are two types of partitioning. First one is the static memory partitioning and second one is the dynamic memory partitioning. First we will see the static memory partitioning. Static memory partitioning is also called as fixed partitioning. The static memory partitioning method is also called as fixed partitioning. As name suggests, the partitions made in this method are fixed size. As the name static memory partitioning, that means fixed partitioning, the name itself suggests that this type of partition is made in a method are fixed size. That means fixed partitioning having a fixed size. All the partitions made by using static memory partitioning are of fixed defined size. If the process or a part of a process assigned to memory is less than its size than partition size, then remaining space cannot be used by any other process. Suppose if the process is having a less size than the partition size, then the remaining space in the static partitioning, the remaining space is cannot given to the any other process. As shown in the following figure, there are different sized partitions are existing. For example, partition 1 is of size 200. Also, input queue is shown, which is a ready queue and waiting for memory allocation. In this figure, here is an input queue. In this input queue, the different processes that processes are in waiting state. Here in this input queue, the processes are stored which are in a waiting. Here are a number of processes and here are the partitions, and here the memory partition is done. The operating system's memory is divided into 4 partitions. Partition 1, partition 2, partition 3 and partition 4. For example, here the partition 1 is of size 200K, the partition 2 having a size 500K, and the partition 3 having a size 700K, and partition 4 having a size 900K. These partitions are done by using a fixed partitions. That means these partitions having a constant fixed size as defined. And from the input queue, the processes accordingly stored into each partitions. And after the execution, if the partition gets free, then the next process or the next job is stored into a partition. This is a static memory partitioning. In short, the static memory partitioning means it is also called as fixed partitioning. And in the fixed partitioning or the static memory partitioning, the partitions are made of fixed size. For example, if we made the partition 1 as of size 200, then that 200 size is fixed in the operating system for the partition 1. That size is not changed. That is fixed size partitioning. And in the fixed size partitioning, the processes which are waiting, that is the processes present in an input queue, that processes are stored accordingly to each partition that is created on the operating system, and whenever the partition gets free, the next process or the next job is assigned to that particular partition. This is static memory partitioning. Then there are advantages and disadvantages of the fixed size partitioning. For example, here is the advantage. The partition size is fixed and can be easily accessible for the process those matches with the partition size. It is good method for the process which process size is exactly matches with the partition size. But here is one drawback of this method, that is the fixed partition is memory wastage method. This method is not suitable for memory because it wastes the memory. Because we know that in a static partitioning, if the process size is less than the partition size, then the remaining size cannot be allocated for another process. So that remaining space, remaining memory is wasted. This is static partitioning. Then next type of partitioning is the dynamic partitioning. The dynamic partitioning is also called as variable partitioning. That means the memory partitioning done as per the requirement of a process length or a size is called as dynamic memory partitioning. Here, the memory partitioning is done as per the requirement of the process or as per the length of the process. Suppose any process requires 100 size partition, then the operating system provides at the execution time the 100 space to that particular process. This is dynamic partitioning. When a process arrives in a ready queue, the operating system checks for the available enough size partition. Whenever a process is in a ready queue, then operating system first checks for the available enough size of partition. Suppose if any process size is 50, then operating system checks the enough 50 size space present in a operating system or not. And if the partition available is very large than operating system divides the partition into parts. If the available partition in the dynamic memory partitioning is too large or is very large, then here the operating system partitions that memory into different parts. Then the process is kept in an appropriate part of a memory and remaining partition of memory is included in the partition available list. Here the appropriate size of memory is allocated to the process and remaining memory is included into a partition available list for another process. Here in this figure, the dynamic partitioning is represented. See this figure? Here the operating system initial partitioning is shown here. Then if in a operating system when a process 1 arrives here, a process 1 arrives and it needs the memory 24 MB, then at this time the memory 24 MB is allocated to it. So here in the dynamic partitioning, as per the requirement of the process, 24 MB partition is done. Suppose in a operating system another one process arrives, process 2 arrives and it needs 32 MB space. Then another 132 MB partition is created for the process 2 and remaining 40 MB is added to the partition available list. So this is an available partition for the remaining processes. Suppose if there is another one process, process 3 arrives which requires the 30 MB, then out of 40 MB, 30 MB partition is created for the process 3. This is the dynamic partitioning. In short, in a dynamic partitioning, as per the requirement of the process, as per the size of the process, as per the length of the process, the partitions gets created in the operating system. Then we will see what are the advantages and disadvantages of this method. Partitions are made as per the process length. So here memory wastage is very less. Here partitions are made as per the process requirement. So here less memory wastage is done. But the main drawback of this is the external fragmentation. That is, some small partitions remain unused in this method. But to overcome the external fragmentation, the compaction method is used. That compaction method is not for your syllabus, but here the compaction mechanism is shown. In short, I will tell you what is an compaction. In a compaction method, it shuffles three memory locations together into one large block. But the compaction is not always possible. What is an compaction? The compaction method shuffles the free memory locations together to form one large block. Suppose in a memory there are three processes, job 3, job 4 and job 5. And in a memory, in a job 5 or after job 5, 10K is free. After job 4, 30K size of memory is free. And after the job 3, 36K memory is free. So, after applying a compaction method, that means compaction method forms the free blocks. Compaction method collects the free blocks and combine that free blocks into one larger block. That means here a job 5, job 4 and job 3 are rearranged using a compaction method, and the free memory blocks, that is of size 10K, 30K and 36K, are grouped together and one large block is formed. One large block of 76K is formed. This block is formed by combining the remaining memory space of the defined jobs. This is the method of compaction. Now, as a homework, the compaction point is not in your syllabus, but you study this point in detail. The description of the compaction is given here. Then you will get the clear idea about the compaction. Then you study the first fit, best fit and worst fit method and solve any one example by referencing these notes. This is your today's homework, and solve any one example by using first fit, best fit and worst fit. Okay, thank you.